Hello, welcome to the newspaper review here on Top TV. My name is Williams Abule. Yes, today is the 27th day in the month of July 2022. Yes, the month of July is gradually coming to an end, almost at the tail end anyway. But we're very excited to have you join us here on the newspaper review. What we do here is we bring you the headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and to do that with me today is Natasha Brown.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The very delectable Natasha Brown. I'm always very excited when it comes to the studio.
And I'm always excited to be on your show. So
We're
yeah.
ready to do this.
Yeah.
All right, good to have you here again. All right, and to our viewers, I want to thank you for joining us. You can also be a part of this program by, subscribing to this channel. Click on the subscribe button. Don't always forget to also turn on the notification, because that's how you get notified whenever we put up a new episode of the program. We also have very interesting programs here on Tab TV. But to stay connected, you need to first follow us on all our social media handles. We're on Facebook as Tab TV. On Instagram, it's tab3_NG, and on Twitter, it's at Tab TV. So do also, follow us on all of these platforms to stay connected. For this morning, we'll go through the headlines, and we want you to join us as we do that, or stay connected to us as we do that. Let's go to the first paper of the day, and that will be Vanguard newspaper. And on Vanguard, we'll start from the very top part of that paper. We see here, Rex not recognized as members of INEC. Okoye, National Commissioner, speaking. You find details of that story on page 9. Bandits, terrorists planning attacks on Lagos, FCT, Katsina, 3 orders. NSCDC, speaking. You find details on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also, as a major headline on Vanguard newspaper, we see here protest. Government toying with an uprising like EndSars. NLC, speaking there. Falana faults federal government's claim on subsidy. Ganduje promises governor's intervention. Details you find on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also see here, police detonate suspected bomb at Kogi government office. Details is on page 27 of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, Ms. Natasha, let me come to you. And the headline about the the Nigerian Labour Congress protest yesterday, nationwide protest, that sparked a lot of reactions from everywhere. What do you make of that story? I mean, we covered the protest live from the streets of Port Harcourt here. At least I saw from the street how people were very angry at the slow pace of the government in resolving this matter. I mean, listening to the Labour chairperson in River State, that's the person of Beatrice Itubo, I beg your pardon. She went ahead to actually, she said it all when she said, it is highly insensitive of the government to have left, these children at home for over 5 months. Very unfair of the government, and that the demands of the lecturers are not too much. So what is holding back the government? What's your reaction to all of this?
I think this has been overflogged. It's disheartening to see that, to see the lackadaisical attitude of the government toward this whole labor strike, especially when it comes to our students who have been home for over 5 months going on. And it's frustrating. I think today, or was it yesterday, a picture surfaced of the House of Reps, Baja Biamila at Harvard University. And so people are like, what is going on here? And then recently also we saw that Governor Wike's son, graduate from a school, from a foreign school. So people are like, a lot of us cannot afford to travel out there. And even though you say there are scholarship platforms, but how many people would actually get the scholarships? People are not asking too much. Parents are saying we only just want. People are paying their fees. Let these people go to school, get the requisite knowledge, and come out and be responsible citizens. And so it's really, really disheartening to see. It almost looks like they are intentionally not even wanting to do much about what is going on, because at the end of the day, the federal government is saying that the labor union, they should be able to come to terms with, what their stance is pertaining to the agreement issues here and there and all that. But at the end of the day, we know that these people have been primarily pushing for having their own type of payment system. Okay, if that is it, can we test run it and see how it pans out for, let's say, 5 years, 4 years, and then if it's not working, can we now scrap it and return back to the IPPIS and all of that? So I really don't know why it's such a huge problem. And I believe they're even more lackadaisical toward the whole issue because a lot of their children are not attending these federal universities. So it doesn't necessarily affect them. So it is appalling, but on another angle, I'm beginning to think, okay, so there was a protest yesterday and there's probably going to be a 2-week strike, but is it going to amount to anything? That's the point. Is it going to amount to anything? Is it high time that the ASU community and the government, they just come to terms like a 50-50 kind of agreement where we might not meet your terms a whole 100%, but we can be able to meet it like 70% or 80% so that you guys can go back. But unfortunately, that's what the government has been doing over time. They meet a particular percentage and the remaining, they just act like, so
until when ASU strikes again.
So it is, I don't know which government is going to come and just set our educational sector right. I really
it's sad.
It's sad.
I've always wondered why, the government of Nigeria has not prioritized giving education a special budget that will be adequate enough to take care of our universities and the entire educational system as it were. I was speaking to someone yesterday and the person was just telling me that just imagine that he's 29 and the age limit to go to NYC is 30.
It's 30, yes.
And then ASU has kept him in the house for over 5 months, and his birthday is sometime in September. And then by the time they are back, he won't be able to meet up, to go for NYC. He has passed the age. So if he ever would go to NYC, he has to lie about it. So, this whole madness just keeps us in a very terrible, vicious circle where things keep happening on the same pattern, and very terrible circle. And that's what everybody's calling for. Both the NLC, they came out to, lend their voices to the ASU and to say, federal government, you need to end this now. ASU is part of the labor union. And then we are not going to sit back and watch you treat them the way you've been doing. I mean, what they're asking for is not out of place. It's something you can provide. So why don't you provide it and end this madness forever? Let the people that can, school here in Nigeria, school like a normal student, not these, in-season strikes here and there. It's really affecting a lot. If we go around and check very well, some students are already dead by now.
The ripple effect of this whole back-to-back ASU strike, it's more negative, than positive in any way.
And that's why the federal government should wade into the matter immediately. They should go back to their classes and their demands should be met. The next paper, and that would be the Daily Sun newspaper for today, the 27th day of July 2022. And from the top part of that paper, we see London court grants Ekweremadu's wife bail. Husband remains in custody. Details of that is on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also see here as the picture headline, ASU strike, Labour grounds Nigeria threatens to stop elections, gives federal government 2-week ultimatum to resolve crisis. Mass protest rocks states, another one planned for FCT. You'll find details of that on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, other headlines here we see how terrorists killed 2 guards brigade officers, 8 soldiers in Abuja. Army chief explains scaling down of peace support. Also, we see here Senate may confirm acting CJN Ariwola today. Details of that you find on page 2 and 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. So do well to get a copy and read up the details. We also see bandits kidnap many Kaduna residents. You find details on that on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Tension as police defuse bomb in Kogi government office. All right, That's all the headline on Daily Sun newspaper. Ms. Natasha, let me come to you. What do you make of, the attack on the presidential guard in Abuja? Considering the fact that these guys have put out word that they are going to attack a few states, including Abuja, the president's states, and of course some other states. And these intelligence reports are now in the hands of the federal government. Do you see them acting upon it?
Hopefully, because why I say hopefully is because it's a 50-50 thing for me. Because right now I think a lot of Nigerians do not understand, or if the federal government is actually complicit or not with the whole insecurity going on in the country, because based on what was said, that intelligence report had already been sent before Kuje prison breakout, and nothing was done prior to that time, and these people had 3 hours to actually break people out. Really? And now another intelligence report has come out, and then you have terrorists saying that, oh, they're going to do this. I hope that they take it seriously. I hope that they don't take it as they don't take it like, say, oh, these people don't have the capacity to do this, because they have been doing pretty much daring things. We remember the one that happened at the Defense Academy in the north. We remember now Kuje prison. We remember the attack on the presidential convoy. It is a scary thing. It is scary. Like, we are beginning to wonder if the presidency is under attack now, how much more mere citizens who do not have necessary weapons, so to speak, to protect themselves. So I really do hope that we take this thing seriously, and I hope that in the next election, whoever is going to come through would invest heavily in our security outfits. If possible, let's start having CCTV cameras. Wow. Almost in every state. I don't know why we cannot be able to provide that. Because it is a scary time that we live in. True. You're leaving your house outside and you come back safely is something to be grateful for, because
a huge miracle.
There's a whole lot of insecurity happening out there, and right now we don't even know if to predicate that whole issue on the fact that there's poverty in the land, unemployment, or because I really don't know. And the video that one of the terrorists put out, he said it's become a business. Yeah. It's not a legit hustle where insecurity is something people should cash in on, right? And then when you have certain clerics also allege that the police force, the armed forces, they're complicit in all of this, it makes us all scared, because you don't know who to go to. So I really, really wish and hope that the federal government will actually really look into this and do the needful. It's so important.
They need to do the needful, and on time too. I mean, to think that the presidential guard was attacked, and some big officers were also killed. I mean, it's really sad.
It's scary.
All right, we'll continue with the papers, but that will be after this break. You stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you registered for your permanent voter's card? I mean, your PVC. There is a Nigeria we all seek, a place where love, peace, security, and unity can reign supreme.
Waste no time. We want a country where peace and justice will be the order of the day.
Unfortunately, there's a problem. One big challenge this generation has to solve.
Our country cries for help every day. We need able and capable hands to lead and direct.
These capable hands can be you. Have you gotten your PVC? Have you registered for the ongoing voting process? Don't say your vote does not count. Yes, it does.
Have you gotten your PVC? Your apathy towards Nigeria's electioneering process will further inhibit our collective growth and development as a nation. Your refusal to participate and engage will keep us at a standstill. So be intentional.
I have my PVC. Your votes, your voice would go a long way in preventing absolute destruction of this country and the future of our children, the hope of tomorrow.
The 2023 Nigerian elections are just around the corner. Go out and get heard. Don't forget, your vote, your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
All right, welcome back from that break. We're still here taking the headlines from the newspapers around Nigeria, and we'll continue the headlines with the Nation's newspaper. And on the Nation's newspaper here, it says Buhari seeks confirmation for AG, CJN, 19 wrecks. You'll find details of that on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. Also, we see this one. It says train attack victim, 100 million naira paid for my freedom. Details you find on page 29 of the Nation's newspaper. All right, moving on to the major headline here on the Nations, we see 2 officers, 6 soldiers killed in attack on presidential guards. Bodies of captain, lieutenant, others found. Bello mourns with families, residents. We also see here varsity strike, act fast to avert unrest. Labour tells federal government. Page 2 and 4 is where you find details of that story. Natasha, the story about the victims of the Kaduna train attack is back again, and this time we're seeing a report that the last 3 persons that were freed, 100 million naira ransom was paid on their heads for their release. How do you react to that story?
I don't know what particular word to use to define how I feel about this, because really kidnapping has become a big time business in Nigeria. Especially when people are hearing that all I have to do is kidnap 1 or 2 persons and then I quickly get 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. A lot of people would say, okay, this is the way to go.
Very true.
It is scary, and then we are also in an economic downturn. So you are beginning to wonder, how are these people also able to raise these monies? And even if you had this money to be able to pay for ransom, wouldn't we rather use that money for something much more lucrative and a business than to just, because I do not want my loved one to die, now I have to pay such exorbitant monies to people that I do not even know. So it is a scary time that we live in, and I really do hope that security is checked. This is one of the reasons why I always say that, because right now, for me personally, I have almost lost confidence in this particular government. So I am already anticipating and looking out for for the new crop of leadership that will come up in the 2023 election. So when we are looking out for who to vote for, we have to take all of these things into consideration.
These are issues that people should look at.
We have to, because if we don't, all of us will be faced with the heat. Right now we are even in the heat, but imagine what it will be like if these things are not a priority to whoever is to come out as the top presidential candidate to rule this nation. So it's high time we had to look at all of these avenues to say that whoever is pro-security, pro-education, pro-healthcare, pro-employment, these are the people we're looking out for.
I sure I mean, these victims have been.
I don't want to make 100 million and then go to pages because my sister's kidnapped. God forbid! Like, no, that money should be put into something that will triplicate the money. And why do I have to throw away 100 million because the government can do their jobs?
These victims have been in captivity for over 4 months now.
Scary.
I mean, that's
scary. We don't even want to think about the emotional turmoil, mental issues going on with them, and even with the weather.
I mean, the last video that was released from this terrorist camp where they just lined them up and they were flogging like animals. I mean, that was very horrible. Traumatizing, and that is what these people go through every day. I mean, it's a very sad thing. Probably launching a proper attack to take the risk of doing that to release these people, and they're playing politics about paying some ransom today, pay 100 million for 3 persons. They still have 47 persons still in captivity. I wonder how much they pay to get those ones released. If they pay 100 million for 3 persons, I wonder how much they pay for.
Who knows where the money is going to? Yeah. They're going to get reinforced.
Yes, they are.
Buy more weapons.
It's very clear that
it's scary.
They take these monies to buy more weapons to reinforce themselves, to give them more, capability to continue to attack the government, to continue to, make their lives unbearable to ensure that they are hands off. That is, the federal government hands off their activities, the terrorist activities. And how can the government really hands off from an activity like that of the terrorists that has caused so much unrest in the country? Well, we are hoping that, like you rightly said, these are the issues that the voters should consider. People going out to vote for the general elections, these are some of the things that you must consider when you go out there to cast your vote. These are some of the things you must consider before you start to support any candidate. You begin to look for candidates that are ready to cause real and effective change in these areas that are really crumbled, because Nigeria is on the verge of collapsing, and if we get it wrong in 2020, recover from it for a long time. Most of the things that we just before, and that's what we're praying that you as a voter, myself as a voter, we should be candidates that are ready and have shown us that they have the capacity to really cause this very real change that we seek. All right, that's all we'll be doing today. Natasha, I want to thank you so much for coming to the show. And to our viewers, thank you for staying with us up to this time. Don't forget that you can also be a part of this by dropping your comments on the comment section. And then, of course, join us tomorrow for another episode of the Newspaper Review. My name is William Sabule, and I'll see you next time.